Hi everyone, and especially hi to everyone that's watching this on this live stream, and for you who's watching this from the future. So, my name is Anna Johansson, and I'm here today to talk to you about one of my favorite topics, learning. I'm very honored to be one of the 100 speakers that are invited to speak to you today and in the future. And when I got the question if I wanted to do this, I said, of course, yeah, I would love to. What do you want me to talk about? No answer. I got to decide all by myself. So I decided I wanted to do this from my heart. I want to talk to you about what matters to me. I want to talk to you about the currency of trust. For any currency to have an effect, either if it's money or gold, the recipient needs to know that it can be exchanged for something real. And one of the main currencies we have in our society today is information. And what comes with information, if you trust it, is security. We can believe in what we're seeing, what we're hearing, what we're reading. And one thing that I'm wondering is what happens when the currency of trust starts to shake. What happens when we lose our trust in information? It's been up in previous conversations, previous presentations as well. But I would like to talk to you about my 3 keywords: learn, love, and lead, and how we're learning in a digital world. My name is Anna, like I said. I'm an alumni from KTH, graduated 2 years ago from the program Master of Science and of Education. It's a double degree that you can take nowadays here at KTH, and I did the Masters in Computer Science. Today, I'm working at Ericsson IT and Cloud. Technical subject matter expert, it's a lot of fluffy words, doesn't really say anything of what I'm doing. But what I am doing is I'm trying to solve the big difficulties that we're seeing with the increased amount of data that we are generating today as a society. And this big amount of data needs to be collected, processed, and stored somewhere. But do we trust this data? And one of my business travels this year, I went to Nuremberg. Nuremberg is a city in Germany, and one of the most famous things about Nuremberg is the Nuremberg trials, where the World War II, the Nazis from World War II were put to a trial for their crimes, the crimes against humanity. And I started thinking about this when I visited the museum in Nuremberg. They had a museum about the Nazis' rise and fall. And I started this museum, and it was a great learning experience. They put it out as a timeline where you started, how they started to rise, how the people in the society about 100 years ago, almost as old as this campus now, how they started to believe in the information that was spread out, how the propaganda was spread to convince people about another world view. And as I walked along the timeline in that museum, I could recognize so many of the happenings. And I didn't recognize them because I read them in a school book back in 15, 20 years ago. No, I recognize them because I see them in our society today. And for those of you who are watching from the future, I hope that we won't repeat our mistakes again. Only the future can tell, right? But one of the things that I'm wondering is how come that we haven't learned more from history? And as the song Waterloo, ABBA song, it's a reference. Not sure if you can Google from the future, but you can do that today. But we are repeating our history as I see it today. But I'm hoping that we, today with the technology that we see, can change that. And in order to change that, we need to figure out a new way of learning. Because learning is changing in a digital world. how many of you in the room here trust all the data, all the information that you're reading? Please raise a hand. Okay, no hands. I'm not sure if you online can do the same, but as of today, in the world and the society we live in, there's a lot of alternative facts. There are a lot of fake news. There are a lot of propaganda trying to persuade us to do and believe in something that might not be true. So how can we trust data? And I think this is one of the most technical challenges that we have of today. How can we create a world where we can trust again? With the data collection that we're doing today, we can gather much more techniques in analyzing the data that we see. With the rise of artificial intelligence, with machine learning, we will be able to sort through a huge amount of data. But is this still enough? Will we still trust something just because it's automated, just because there's a machine telling us it's so? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think there's a component that might be missing. And that component is the way we actually dare to be open with each other. How we dare to trust, even though we might not have all the facts. And it might sound a bit contradictory now when I'm saying it, that you should trust even though we don't have all the data, and we should still maybe be a bit concerned about data that might not be true. But in a society where there is no love, in a society where we're not daring to share our stories with each other, I think it's going to be hard to find that collaboration and that trust. So how can we create data that we can trust? One of the most important things that I see that we can do is to collaborate. I think we need to collaborate more, both in regards of research, to make sure that the data we're collecting, the data that we're gathering, the research we're doing is open source, that we can check the analysis that everyone is doing. And also that we can collaborate in what we are creating as a society. Because when we can collaborate, when we can share, I hope that we can be able to include everyone in that learning process. So, what if we take the Nürnberg example again, what if that we today would be able to see ourselves through the light of the eyes of the future? Do you think that we would be able to see where we are heading? In a society today, 2017, I see a lot of closed borders. I see a lot of extra control, extra governments trying to make sure that everyone is catalogued. I wish that we could make room for each other and make sure that everyone is included in our society. And if everyone would be included in our society, we'd be able to share our experience and also to be able to create a world together. One of the main things that I learned when I studied here at KDH is the power of collaboration. As a student, one of the first things that you get to do is to study together with your classmates. And when you're studying together with your classmates, you realize that you don't understand everything. And after a while, you realize there's more in this world that you can ever comprehend. I don't think that there is a society today when there's going to be one person who understands it all, when there's one person who would be able to tell everyone else what to do. I think we need to create this together. And I also believe that we need to be the change that we want to see. I don't think that we can go around and ask everyone else what to do and ask everyone else to change. Recently, just the past few days, there's been a social media campaign going on called Me Too in regards of sexual assault. And this campaign is a campaign where people who are victims of sexual assault has raised their hand and told, like, I'm a victim too. And what this campaign showed collaboratively is that there are so many victims out there that have not been seen. And it's only the stories that we dare to tell that are actually being told. So there's still more to uncover. And I'm also seeing that more and more people are starting to react to this campaign, when we are collaboratively taking a stand for the change we want to create. We are all the action heroes of our everyday life, if we just dare to be there. Another thing that I've learned during my studies at KTH, this is where we have a lot of the leaders of the future. Even if we're looking in the mirror, in the back mirror, looking behind us, the people who passed through this great university, there's a lot of people who are out there today in the world that are leaders. Hopefully a lot of you who are watching now, for example. And for you who are watching from the future, I hope that you will see even further that a lot of the people that are studying today at KTH, who are working here today, who are speaking in this great seminar, are the ones who are actually helping to change and shape the future. I hope that my grandkids will be able to look back and see, like, yeah, this is where change started, where we can see our legacy, where we can see that seed that we planted that one time, or that long career might be a full seed. That's what we created together to change the society. There are so many challenges that we are facing, and it's only together that we can solve them. That's what I want to say with lead. We need to lead the way. We need to be the change we want to see. We cannot wait for everyone else to do it. And in a digital world where we're having the whole globe at our feet, we need to use that techniques, the digital techniques we have today, to collaborate over the borders. We need to make sure that we are creating a society where our kids can grow up, where their kids can grow up, both in regards of environmental, social, and economical sustainabilities. So, what I would like to send with you is these 3 words. It's learn, love, lead. I want you to challenge the way we're learning today and start thinking of how you can start to really listen and to understand, and how we can use technologies today to help us. And love, I think we need to collaborate more on every level to make sure that we're creating an open and inclusive society. And then lead, to be the change leaders I think we need to be, to make sure that this capsule can be open in 200 years from now, and there's still something to look at. And then I will thank you for having me here, and for everyone who's watching. Thank you.